In a bleak future, Earth is no longer habitable. A massive climate disaster, rising sea levels, and diseases have decimated humanity. A group of the privileged fled to a distant planet called Kepler 209. But centuries later, Kepler is failing. People can no longer reproduce, and extinction is imminent. So a few elite astronauts are sent back to Earth to investigate whether it can be recolonized. This is the story of one such mission. This is the story of the colony, 2021, also known as Tides. Return to Earth. The film opens in darkness. Static. A crash. A pod has entered Earth's atmosphere. Inside the capsule is a female astronaut, Blake, the sole survivor of the mission Ulysses 2. The rest of her crew didn't survive the rough descent. She barely makes it out of the capsule, drenched, breathing heavily. Around her, there is only fog, water, and silence. Earth is submerged. Everything is covered in water. She drags herself ashore and begins her mission: scan, collect data, survive. Blake is a descendant of those who fled Earth centuries ago. Born on Kepler, she has never seen Earth. But she was trained all her life for this moment. Her mission: test if Earth can once again support human life. As she recovers, she records into her mission log. She tells Kepler Command that the landing was successful but harsh. Atmospheric pressure is stable. Radiation levels are tolerable. Gravity feels heavy. Time on Earth is different. Kepler is lighter and thinner. Earth's gravity drains her strength. Soon, she discovers a long-forgotten, rusted shipwreck, a sign of Earth's tragic past. Humanity was drowned and defeated. She sets up camp inside an old vessel. There, she begins analyzing the soil, the air, and especially signs of life. Her main goal is to see if humans can reproduce again on Earth. Kepler's population has become sterile, but her peace is short-lived. She notices something strange in the distance: movement. She's not alone. Captured. At night, her equipment is tampered with. The next day, she is attacked by humans, survivors. Dressed in primitive but tactical gear, they wear masks and operate like a tribe. They subdue her and take her prisoner. Blake is shocked. Earth wasn't supposed to have survivors, at least none organized. These people live in a flooded wasteland, yet have built rafts, camps, and systems. She is brought before Narvik, a strong and silent leader, and his daughter Mila, a young but brave girl. Narvik is cautious but not cruel. He sees Blake as a threat, but also as a potential opportunity. He remembers a time when others from the sky came before, like the Ulysses 1 mission. They didn't end well. Blake tries to explain her purpose, but trust is not easily earned. She's treated as a prisoner. But slowly, she notices something miraculous: children. The survivors can reproduce. Earth-born humans are fertile. This is critical information. This means humanity's survival depends not on Kepler, but Earth. The colony back home must know the truth about Ulysses 1. As Blake gains a bit more trust, she asks about Ulysses 1, the previous mission from Kepler. She learns from Narvik that Ulysses 1 didn't crash, it landed. But instead of helping the survivors, they tried to dominate them. They called themselves the Muds, and they became tyrants, stealing resources, enslaving people, and trying to restart civilization by force. When the Earthborn resisted, war followed. Ulysses 1 was defeated. Blake is horrified. Her belief that Kepler is noble and scientific is shattered. The people back on Kepler lied. The mission was not just about research, it was about conquest. Narvik shows her the remnants of their technology: weapons, helmets, scorched earth. It's clear Kepler views Earth as a colony to reclaim, not a lost home. Gibson's arrival. Suddenly, a new visitor arrives: Gibson, another Kepler-born survivor of Ulysses 2. Unlike Blake, Gibson has fully aligned with the mission's darker intentions. He believes Kepler must take Earth back by any means. He reunites with Blake, but it's clear they have different philosophies. Blake wants to help the Earthborn. Gibson sees them as primitives standing in the way of Kepler's survival. Gibson teams up with remnants of the Muds and seizes Narvik's camp, capturing or killing many survivors. He plans to use the colony's beacon to signal Kepler and allow colonization forces to descend. But Blake rebels. She escapes and begins helping Mila and others resist. Sacrifice and hope. In a desperate battle, Blake and Mila infiltrate the Mud base, located in a decaying offshore platform. The base is filled with old-world tech powered by wind and solar. There, Gibson is preparing the final transmission. Blake confronts Gibson. They fight, physically and ideologically. Gibson argues that only Kepler has the tech to preserve humanity. Blake counters that only Earth has the future, through its children. In a final move, Blake sabotages the transmitter. The platform begins to collapse. Gibson is left behind and dies. Blake and the survivors escape back to land. But not all is safe. The weather worsens. Storms approach. Blake records her final log. She tells Kepler Command the truth. Earth is fertile again. Life is possible. But colonization must not be through force. Earth must be respected. She destroys the last beacon, cutting communication with Kepler. Epilogue, a new beginning. Time passes. Blake stays on Earth. She becomes part of the tribe. She helps build, teach, and guide. She watches children grow. She watches Earth heal. The final shot shows Milo running freely along the shoreline, smiling. The tide has changed. Earth is not a wasteland anymore. It is home. Ending message for narration close. And that was The Colony, 2021. A haunting yet hopeful tale of survival, rebirth, and the difficult choices humanity must make when facing extinction. It reminds us that technology may build walls, but nature builds bridges. That survival is not just about escaping the past, but healing the Earth we abandoned. In the end, Earth didn't need saving. We did.